Hey guys, today we're going to be breaking down ZENKAI Red ZAMASU, and we also should have LF Goku and BARDOCK'S unique equipment in the data as well. We did also get the countdown screens, the countdown, I think it's 5 days, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all those 5 countdown screens to Legends Fest, so this should be the last update we get before Legends Fest begins. I think next week on Wednesday we might just get like a very small update for a new Awaken equipment or something, and that might be it, or maybe they'll give us a raid or something, but I don't think there's going to be any new like free-to-play character or Zenkai or anything like that next week. So this should be really the final update we're going to get before Legends Fest begins. So we're almost there. Just got about a week and a half left before the beginning of Legends Fest. So we'll take a look at Red ZAMASU. Now, this character is insanely old. I don't even think it's really worth looking at the non-Zenkai Awakened kit because it's just going to completely be different here. So this character is certainly notorious. We played back in the day on one of the most annoying teams in the game, the Regen team back then. Essentially unkillable. You just every match with a timer. This guy on on a team with Zenkai Green Fat Boo. Essentially what happened is I believe it was 150 counts is how long the max time was for each fight. They actually, because of this character in combination with Fat Boo, they basically had to extend the amount of timer counts each match had because it was actually impossible to kill this character. It's actually impossible. So yeah, pretty, I guess, black history for this character, but we'll see what they do with the Zenkai Awakening. All right, stats. It's got a lot of health, 2.88 million. He does have higher strike, which is interesting because I think he actually had higher blast before his Zenkai Awakening. And then defenses are looking very high. Of course, he's a defense type here, so he's going to be at in the middle of. So he's going to actually he's literally going to have over 200k blast defense. 201,000 blast defense, and then upper 190s to strike defense. Okay. But yeah, offenses are obviously a little low, but he's a defense type. So he's on God Key, Future, and Powerful Opponent and Regen, so he's on a lot of teams. The ZAMASU characters are always on a lot of teams here. Strike and Blast are nothing's different with that. So the blue card is Major Slice Damage, 30% special move damage for 3 counts, applies the following effects to enemy on hit. 20% of damage received, and then 100% chance to inflict heavy bleed. Okay. Green card is a stop time. Randomly draws 1 new card. 40 key, 25% damage inflicted for 15 counts. 70% chance to inflict heavy bleed for 15 counts upon landing a strike card. And then all enemies get plus 10% of slice damage received. Sure. Main ability draws a blue card. 40 key. Doesn't even get enough key to use it, huh? It's a little weird. Reduce impact and explode damage by 10% for 30 counts. That's cancelable. Cancels unattribute downgrades normal conditions. Reduces all health by 25%. 100% chance to inflict all enemies with extreme bleed. This is interesting. We've never seen this effect before in the game, where you just pop your main ability and you inflict the enemies with a status ailment like this. 100% chance to inflict all enemies with extreme bleed. I don't think bleed is a strong enough mechanic to where you can kind of just like build your whole team defensively and then count exclusively on bleed to like sort of win the fight from that point. It would be a lot more interesting if these could stack. Like imagine if you, every time you inflicted bleed, instead of it refreshing the bleed, it would create a new instance, and you would have like multiple bleed effects stacking up. At that point, it would definitely be very interesting, but I don't know how good this is, but it is a new mechanic, technically. His Z ability is only buffing strike attack for Future and Regen. I imagine his Zenkai ability will be for Powerful Opponent, right? Oh no, it's Red Future. Okay, that kind of solidifies what part 1 is. So we saw the free-to-play Sin. I mean, I guess it's still possible the other character could be related to GT, but I took them giving us the Sin Shenron, and then also now we have ZAMASU. I think those characters both are hinting towards just a Powerful Opponent in general character, but now with ZAMASU buffing Red Future here, I am definitely thinking that, I mean, I definitely thought this already, but part 1, tag Rose and ZAMASU who fuse with the Synchro Gauge into Fusion ZAMASU seems very, very likely to me. If this guy just buffed Powerful Opponent, I think it kind of would still be like, okay, yeah, maybe there's a chance of something else, but with him buffing Future now, it seems a lot more likely that it's just gonna be that character. So I mean, this is technically good though, because he's now overriding, or I guess overlapping his buffs with the Z ability and Zenkai abilities. So Red Future character is going to get a lot of stats from this. All right, let's see. After enemy attack is over, restores 20% of damage received up to 20%, and then 20% damage inflicted 15 counts. Applies flying effects to self when changing cover. Reduce damage received by 15% until combo ends. Okay, we're still doing the 20-20 mechanic there. 20% to health restoration for 20 counts. Nullifies unfavorable element factors for damage. Okay, so he's type neutral against blue defensively on cover change. Falling effects occur when own health reaches 0 once. He gets 30% health. All enemies get plus 20 to all arts costs for 5 counts and seal all enemies' main abilities. Okay. Would have been nice if we killed a Dragon Ball on that. One thing that's really strong with Majin Vegeta that, yeah, it's kind of underrated, I think, a little bit, is when his endurance is procced, he actually destroys Dragon Balls. So a lot of times what will happen is people will try and just get rid of his character's first life, and then they sort of have the rush opened up. But Majin Vegeta, you can't do that because he's going to destroy your Dragon Balls. 30% damage inflicted against the following tags: Saiyan and Hybrid Saiyan. Okay, so majority of the game. Following effects occur when battle starts: 80% damage, reduced damage received by 50%. But then he's getting, what was it, 15? Yeah, 15% here on cover change. 50% to own key recovery, 15% to special move damage. Applies the following effects to enemy upon landing a strike arts hit. Inflicts attribute downgrade, minus 20% key recovery. And then 30% chance to inflict heavy bleed. Just a lot of bleed going on here. He's got to have some synergy with the bleed, right? I'm thinking something like Ultra Rose did, where every time like Ultra Rose would use a strike against an enemy who was who had a bleed active, he would get buffs. Maybe something similar to that. I think Demon King Piccolo has that too, the yellow one, whenever he's attacking an enemy that has poison. Following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield, randomly draws 1 new card, new 3 fewer cards, restores own key by 40, 80% damage. Oh, here we go. Reduce impact damage received by 10% for 10 counts. That's okay, extra damage reduction there. Card draw speed for 15 counts, and then cancels enemies' attribute upgrades, activates 3 times. That's kind of interesting. If that was buff effects, that would be insane. Because if that was buff effects, you would be able to cancel, like, fusing Super Vegito's endurance nullification when he rushes. That would be insane if you had buff effect cancel on swap in, but it's just attribute upgrades. So he's getting 80% damage here, 80% damage here, 30% damage against Saiyan and Hybrid Saiyans. Okay, I mean, it's all right. Applies the following effects to self when enemy activates an ultimate, awakened, or rising rush while this character is not defeated. 30% to special move damage inflicted for 15 counts. Nullifies enemy special. It gets cover null for 15 counts. Shortens sub count by 5. So, I mean, I saw this and I thought, okay, they're giving him buff removal, but they didn't. Cover null when the enemy uses an ultimate or rising rush. Seems a little weird. Shortening sub count is nice, but I mean, you really want buff removal on this, right? All right, let's see what he does here. Falling effects occur every time when hit with an enemy's arts attack while this character's in the battlefield. Randomly destroys one of your own cards and draws a special arts card. Okay. 10% damage inflicted, activates 3 times. Reduce enemy key by 5. So that's 30% more damage there. Falling effects also occur if... Oh, here we go, yeah. If enemy is afflicted with a bleed, heavy bleed, or extreme bleed. So every time he is hit, if the opponent is bleeding... Reduce enemy key by 15. Oh, that's actually really good. Because that's going to be 20. Because it's 5 plus the 15 here. So he's going to be reducing enemy ki by 23 times, or 23 times in a row. Seals one enemy card slot randomly up to one slot simultaneously for 5 counts. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade 15% damage received for 30 counts. Activates 3 times. I was kind of hoping he would have like a cost, like a stacking cost increase ability on this, but minus 20 ki is actually really annoying. Okay. You know, for Zenkai, he actually seems not terrible. Like, I'm comparing this guy. I'm thinking about some of the recent Zenkais we've gotten, like Yellow's Dragon Ball Super Bardock, Blue Deborah. Like, certainly this character is going to be way better than those guys, for sure. I'm a little bit curious that they did not give him buff removal here, but this is still a good effect, right? I mean, just having sub-count reduction for himself when the enemy uses a Rising Rush, with him just having endurance normally will be pretty good. Okay, I mean, I think he seems pretty solid, actually, and then, you know, with the Zenkai ability here, we know it's looking like future for part 1, which makes sense to me. Interesting. All right, let's take a look at the unique equipment, which we should be getting as well. I don't think there's going to be any other equipment dropping here. Yeah, because co-op is still up. PvP season's still up. All right, looks like that's it. Let me just scroll down to make sure we're not missing anything. Oh, no, there is an Awaken equip, and it's also a future equip. Trunks. Okay, let's check this out first, I guess. This is Weapon Wielder or Future. Special move damage and health restoration 10% in slot 1. Then you get to choose 32% to base, strike, or blast, and then 12% health. This is a good equip, man. This is good. Weapon Wielder really needed a strong equip like this. One of the things I don't like, actually, about the new Weapon Wielder co-op equipment, I don't know, this is probably all the way up in the top here. Where's the Weapon Wielder? This one. I like, obviously, that they're starting to give us Weapon Wielder equipment. I'm a little bit curious as to why they didn't give us HP for this one. Typically, when they're trying to build up a new team, it is super important to just start pumping like really strong equipment for that team. This is definitely a very good equip, but it would have been a lot better if it had HP in slot 1. Like, remove special move damage for just HP. 10% HP and 10% health restoration in slot 1 would have made this thing insane. I mean, it's still very good right now, but that's why I was a little bit confused. Like, they didn't give that equipment HP on it, which is a little weird, but this thing is really good. This is for future too. Yeah, this is okay. Special move, health restoration. So we're getting special move and health restoration by 10% on this and that equip we just looked at for Weapon Wielder. This thing's good. Yeah, this is a good Awaken equip. I'm actually probably gonna farm up 4 of these, 2 with strike and 2 with blast. Damn, do I want to farm 6? 6 of these? Maybe. It's actually 12% health. Like, you don't really see equipment that has 12% health on it that often. That's why the Majin Buu Saga equipment is insane. 15% is like actually unheard of. This kind of reminds me of this, because this also has 12% health. Except this is uber restricted. This is Shadow Dragon team. Like, no one's using this. So this definitely looks very good to me. I was not expecting them to make this as good as they did. This is very good. All right, let's check out Goku and Bardock's unique equipment. The only concern I have with this is if it's restricted. That's the only thing I don't want to. I don't want to see heavy restrictions on this. Don't make this like you have to run another Game Original character. You have to run another Team Bardock character. Like, please just make it good and make it not restrictive. That's all I'm asking for here. All right, that's a long Jesus. Okay, so this is obviously for Goku and Bardock, the character that released during Part 2 of Legends Fest last year. This is still, to this day, the only summonable Game Originals character. I am definitely expecting to get more Game Originals characters during Legends Fest, potentially multiple. I think it's possible we could actually get 2 Game Originals characters during this celebration, but we'll see. I think them giving Goku and Bardock a unique equipment a little bit earlier than I think they probably needed it is potentially indicative that Part 1 could have actually like a gamer. Like, it could be Goku Black and ZAMASU tag Synchro Gauge for Part 1, and then the second character in Part 1, the second banner, could potentially just be a Game Originals character. All right, 15% health, and then 35% of base defenses with 15% health restoration. Okay, off to a good start. Slot 2, inflicting damage 30%. 30. That's a little bit more than I thought. And then 35% of base offenses. Okay. Keep in mind, this character gets the full Z ability from LF Bardock, which I think is a big deal, because LF Bardock at 14 stars or whatever gives the extra HP to Team Bardock. So what you can do is you can actually not put Goku and Bardock in the leader slot, and then whoever's in the leader slot gets the HP buff, and then Goku and Bardock will still also get the HP buff while not being in the leader slot. So you don't really need a lot of times, like the team I'm going to be using with this character is not going to be having a traditional HP bench, because you can make use of that yellow Bardock. 30% damage though is a little higher than I was thinking. That's a lot. I mean, this character is not that bad. So, all right. Take a look at slot 3. Charges own unique gauge by 40% when battle starts. That's pretty good. This is a character that I don't really think needed a unique gauge, to be honest, but the unique gauge is pretty, I mean, it gives them damage when it's fully filled up, so that's pretty good. And it does take a while to build up, because it's every time they switch. I believe they need to switch 4 times in total to get the max unique gauge, so it can be a little bit annoying, especially now that we have characters that just continually have these counter gauges. So the counter gauge, like the, well, not counter gauge, but the auto gauge mechanic was introduced with Ultra Janemba. By auto gauge, I mean, yeah, it's like counter / auto gauge, right? Where you attack the character with a certain type of card and they just automatically end the combo, even if you have cover null up. So it's kind of still a new mechanic when this character released, so you didn't really have to worry about it as often as you did now. Now we have Majin Vegeta, we have Ultra Gohan, we have UI Goku, like we have so many characters that have these auto gauge counter mechanics, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So it's definitely been a lot tougher to get this gauge for them, a Goku and Bardock filled up. So seeing this is pretty good. Shortens own sub count by 5 when enemy activates special move, ultimate, or awakened arts. Not Rising Rush, huh? Okay. This is good though, because remember, this character heals after they take a blue card or an ultimate. So I remember when this character first came out and when they were like very, very strong, I would intentionally switch into them to eat blue cards and ultimates, because I knew we were going to heal back a lot of the damage. So that's pretty good. It makes it easier to switch into them. Applies the following effects to self when this character enters the battlefield via tag switch if unique gauge is full. Activates once. Charge switch gauge by 40% and 20% damage. They're actually getting a lot of damage from this. 20% damage there, and then 30 there. 50%. Let me just take a quick look at the actual character. So let's just filter by, I guess, green. Goku and Bardock, where are they? Right here. So 20% damage against Lineage of Evil. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be very good right now. Lineage of Evil is like one of the most forgotten teams in the game. 100% damage. They have 70% reduced damage received. Card draw speed. You know, let me actually just quickly show the let me show the unique gauge, because that's mostly what it's focused on here. Where is it? Not this. Okay, so applies the following effects to self once unique gauge is full. 30% damage inflicted, and then they just nullify like all the annoying effects. They are immune to destroy card effects, immune to reduce key effects, and immune to reduce Dragon Ball effects. You know what? This is very good. This is one of the more underrated mechanics in the game right now, with how much Dragon Ball destruction there is. It is insane how much Dragon Ball destruction exists in the game. Majin Vegeta is destroying Dragon Balls. Ultra Turles is destroying Dragon Balls. Tree of Might Goku is destroying Dragon Balls. That right now is probably just the single best team in the game. It's just Majin Vegeta with those two characters. Every single character on that team is destroying Dragon Balls. So if you're able to get this effect up pretty fast with the full unique gauge, you don't have to worry about that for 20 counts. So you can actually use this character to just very quickly farm a rush and, I guess, essentially just bypass those Dragon Ball destruction mechanics. This could be an interesting character here with the unique equipment. 30% damage there. What else do they do? When changing cover, they're getting damage. They're getting damage, of course, when they use their tag switch mechanic. AoE green. And then they also get additional effects here if the unique gauge is full. 20% enemy sustained damage cut. Anything on the blue? No. They're stacking up this as well. Yeah, I think... Because again, I wasn't expecting them to just get 30% damage inflicted in slot 2. This could be an interesting character, actually. Now, to be fair, I mean, I've been saying this the whole year, but power creep this year has been insane. Typically, we don't see... Like, this character was arguable easily top 3 on release, and then also when UI Goku came out, they just paired up so well with him. This is like a top 3 character Legends Fest last year. So this is not a character that I think really needed to get a unique equipment as fast as they did, so this actually could be a pretty influential equipment. We'll see. But there we go. That is the update for this week. We have the ZENKAI for Red ZAMASU and then the equipment for Goku and Bardock. Let me know down below what you guys think. Again, I think this probably is going to be the final update we see for Legends before Legends Fest 2024 begins. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.